Hello, welcome to SwitchedOn Gaming. Paul speaking, and today looking at a new Nintendo Switch game. This was actually announced and released during the Indie World presentation on Thursday. Was it Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday this week? The weeks go so crazy near Christmas. The most recent Indie World publication. This was quite a surprise. I had no idea this was coming. I usually keep my ear to the ground on board games, but this one just kind of dropped completely out of nowhere, and it's Let's Play Oink Games. Now, being a fairly avid board game fan and having quite a sizable collection at one point, I'm well aware of Oink Games. If you're not aware of them, they're these sort of super cute small boxed games, reasonably cheap. You can usually get them for around about £15 in the UK or less. And what they've done here is they've created them digitally and released them as a pack of 4 games initially, and the presentation on the Indie World said that they would be releasing more in due course, which is quite cool. Be interesting to see if they're going to be paid DLC or just free add-ons. But you get 4 games here in this initial pack. Say this is out now. It's $22 and £17.99. So you're getting quite decent value for money, but I'm just going to take you through each of the games and just sort of give you a very brief overview how each plays and looks. Don't want to go too deep into these at the moment. If there's anyone interested in having a deep dive in each of the games, I can do that over the coming week or so. But as I say, you get 4 games here. You've got Moon Adventure, and you can flip it around to the back of the box. These are obviously very accurate representations of the boxes, the real boxed games that you can buy. We've got Startups, A Fake Artist Goes to New York, and finally Deep Sea Adventure. Now, first, some good and bad news. I'm going to start with the bad news, because there honestly, with this collection, there is not a lot of bad news at all, which is the good news, I guess. But the bad news is A Fake Artist Goes to New York is one of my favourite games, and it's one of the most popular Oink games, and it's absolutely gutting, really, for it to be on this collection, as it's only playable in multiplayer. You can't play this with the AI. I haven't tried it locally pass and play. I don't know how that would work, because this game involves there being a hidden person. You know, one of the players gets a hidden role of being the fake artist, and it's absolutely gutting, because I would love to have a version of this. I can understand totally why this doesn't work with the AI. First of all, it's a bluffing game, so that's obviously very hard to replicate in AI. And then secondly, you're trying to draw a picture, but quite abstract. So you know, you're basically, each player takes a turn in drawing a line to create a picture, but you don't want to draw it too exact, because you know, the fake artist will guess what you're all trying to draw. So I'm not going to really discuss A Fake Artist Goes to New York too much more. It's just really disappointing that it's only available online. This is quite a niche game. I've tried over the last few days to get online games, and I can't find anyone to play with. So whilst there is 4 games in this collection, just bear in mind that one of them is totally unplayable versus the AI. And so your mileage may vary in terms of value, but we're going to go through them very quickly. I'll leave Moon Adventure to last. That's by far the biggest of the games. You can see there again, really nice presentation at the top, tells you how long the game's going to play, roughly 40 minutes for 2 to 5 players, ages 10 plus. Startups is a quick card game, 15 minutes, 3 to 4 players, 10 plus. Fake Artist, there's 5 minutes, and Deep Sea Adventure, 30 minutes, 2 to 6 players, and 8 plus. We'll start with Startups. That seems a good place to start. First thing I want to really go into is how beautiful the presentation is in this game. I love Nintendo's 51 worldwide classic games. I think that's a brilliant collection of little games, but the presentation in that is what's really impressive. And I think this is on a par with Nintendo's 51 classic games. And I don't think I can give it any higher praise than that. Obviously, Nintendo, you know, the masters of, you know, UI and beautiful presentation and really going the extra mile. This game is right up there. So when you click on how to play, first of all, you get this little video. I'll just play a little bit of it, but you get kind of a little overview video of real people playing the game. which is really quite helpful. Sort of shows you some of the mechanics of the game. And each of the games has got this. And then you've got these instructions. So a quick start guide, it's broken into 4 easy to digest chunks. The game objective, a couple of chunks. And each of the games has got all of the explanations that you're going to need. And then obviously, as these are real games anyway, you can always jump on YouTube, watch some playthroughs if you're still a little bit unsure of how to play the games. But you should really, the how to plays are excellent, and that should be more than enough to get you going. So we're going to start with startups. It says we need at least 3 players. Do we want to add CPU players and start the game? This again is a really nice UI touch that I think is just brilliantly done. It's just that little extra bit of thought of the user experience. Sort of, the cursor will jump to the most obvious, button that you're going to want to be pressing. All that kind of stuff. It's very clear, very obvious. Really, really beautifully presented. It's a 10 out of 10 in terms of presentation. So this game is a sort of set collecting card game. You collect sets of these startup businesses. I've got dealt a really good hand at the moment. 3 of the same card, EMT, the Elephant Mars Travel. We take 1 card from the centre of the table, and then we put 1 card down. Now we can put the card in our own area, or we can put it back into the market. If we put it into our own area, then you start to collect shares in that company. If you put it back in the market, well, I'll explain both of those as we go through, but they're the 2 options where you can put your card down after you pick one up. We're going to start by adding this to our own share portfolio, and then we get that little token there to show that we've got the most cards of all the players at the moment in that company. The AI player there has decided to put his card into the centre of the table, and he's going to play that green card, and he takes the Monopoly chip for that one to show he's got the most cards. The only option we've got at the moment still is to draw a card from the deck in the middle. And what we'll do with this one, we'll put it back out into the middle. Now, if anybody wants to take a card from the deck, they're going to have to put one of their coins onto the vacant market cards in the middle. So it's going to cost you money to take a card from the deck if there's cards out in the middle. Now, I can show you that here quite clearly. Player to my right, put a card into the market. So you can see now on the deck, you got a helpful little reminder to say it's going to cost me 1 coin to take a card from the deck. Or I can take that card that he discarded, or they discarded from the market. It's a lady actually, Lady AI, that she discarded from the market. I can pick that up for free and put it in my hand. Everyone starts with 10 coins. You can see your coins down in the bottom left hand corner. So if I take this card, I will lose a coin and it goes onto the green card if you just watch that. So I put a card onto the green card and picked up from the deck. And I'm just going to add another card to my shareholding in EMT. And you can see there the other AI player to my left picked up that card from the market, and when you do that you also pick up any coins that are on it. So play continues like this, round and round until the end of the game. Whoever's got the most cards of one of the 6 companies, the other players have to pay them coins, pay them in shares, and whoever's got the most coins at the end is the winner. So it's a very quick to play, very snappy card game, one I enjoy playing quite a lot. I've had fair decent number of rounds of this. It's not one that I played in real life, so this would definitely be a game that I would consider picking up. The next game I'm going to show you is Deep Sea Adventure. This is one of the more popular Oink games, and again this plays absolutely beautifully. I mean, first of all, the presentation, graphics, the user interface, everything just really beautiful. And this is actually a very cool little strategy game. So everybody puts their diver down. Now basically you're diving down these tiles to collect treasure. You roll dice and move that number of spaces. And then when you land on one of the tiles, you can choose to pick it up or you can choose to leave it and carry on with your turn. Now if you pick a die up, it does 2 things basically. One, it will reduce the air capacity in the submarine. You can see there on the submarine we're all standing at the moment, there's an air marker. For every tile that you've got, you lose that amount of air. And also when you roll dice in future, the number of tiles that you've got in your hand is reduced from the dice total as well. So you've got to be very careful. If you don't make it back to the submarine before the air runs out, then you lose anything that you were carrying. Now, that air supply is shared between all 3 players as well. So let's just run through a couple of turns and show you how this plays. We're going to dive, first of all. We're going to roll the dice. We've got a 6. That's handy. Make our way down. Now, the sort of the triangle-shaped tiles are worth less. The square tiles are worth a little bit more. The pentagon tiles a little bit more. And then the hexagon tiles a little bit more than that. So the further down you dive, the more chance of treasure you've got of picking up, the more valuable treasure. And it's kind of a risk-reward game. It's how far you want to dive down. So the AI there picks up his first bit of treasure. Again, it was a lady. It's the same lady. I keep getting her gender wrong. The second CPU player did nothing, green. So it's back to me. So I'm going to keep diving. I'm going to roll the dice. We've got a 5. So if you pick up, if you're on your way down and you start picking up treasure, it's going to slow your sort of descent down. And obviously, as I say, you'll lose pips on your die rolls as well. So we're going to do nothing here. We'll probably have one more roll, then we'll head back. So you can see the air's going down because the red CPU player there, she's collected 1 treasure. You can see next to her, she's got the little triangle. So she's starting to cost the whole team air. Green CPU does nothing on his turn. We're going to try and go a little bit further before we head back. We've got another 5. You can always pick tiles when you're on your way back up as well, so when you know you're kind of safe. So we're going to pick up. You don't know what you get yet. Nobody reveals their treasure until you get back to the submarine. So 1 air comes off for the 1 tile that the red CPU player has. And she's carrying on. And she's going to pick up a square tile. Now the tiles that get replaced, those ones with the crosses on, at the end of a round, they get removed and everything gets shuffled back up. So the next time you head out, you've got more chance of getting deeper. And the game is played over 3 rounds. So we're going to head back. And we'll probably, as long as we get some decent dice rolls, we will pick up some treasure on the way back. That's not ideal. We rolled a 2 and we lost 1 pip because we've got 1 bit of treasure. So for now we're going to do nothing because I'm still not feeling entirely confident that we're going to make it back yet. The air goes down incredibly quickly. Quite surprising how quick it goes down once people start heading back. So red CPU rolled a 4. She loses 2 pips for the 2 bits of treasure that she's got. Green CPU cost us 1 air. Rolls a 6 and makes it back safely. So green is now safe with his 1 bit of treasure. I cost us 1 air. We're going to keep heading back. Once you start heading back, you can't turn back round again. So you're kind of committed to heading back. Rolled a 5 minus the 1 bit of treasure pip that I've got. Now when you land on a previously picked up square, you can drop treasure down. So you can sort of let go of it, and it obviously speeds you up and stops costing you air. But we're going to do nothing. 2 blips of air for red as she carries on her journey back. She's only going to get 1 space because she loses 2 pips for the 2 bits of treasure she has. Green is okay, but he's still costing us air. Oh, it's not costing us air, that was my air, sorry. So 5, so that means I'm going to move 4 spaces. Now I'm going to risk picking up that tile as I'm reasonably close to home. Red rolls a 3, so again she's only going to get a 1. And she's going to pick up another bit of treasure. So you can see now we're already down to 11 air. I've got 2, red's got 3, so that's 5 blips of air in each turn we're going to be losing. So we've basically got 2 turns left to get home. And that's how quickly the air goes once you start collecting stuff. So I need a good roll. That is awful. That means I don't move at all. So that is a real wasted turn. 3 air from red. Oh, she rolls a 6. Although she's only going to get to move 3 spaces. See, I don't think we're going to make it back. And this is how quickly you've got to decide to go back. She's dropped 1 of her treasures there. So we're down to 6 air. I need a 6. Come on, 6. 4. ideally, red gets back here with a good roll. Come on, get a 6. Well, 5. That'll be enough to get her back. And now, with my 2 out, I've got 2 chances to get home with 4 spaces to go. Okay, I roll a 4, but I'm going to lose 2. Now, this is the risk and the reward. I've basically got 1 turn left because I've got 2 air left. I can risk trying to get home and hoping I get at least a 2. Or, you know, at least can move 2 spaces. Or I can drop something, which makes the chance more likely that I'm going to get home. So I'd rather get home with something than get home with nothing. So we're going to lose 1 hour, which basically is going to give me 1 more chance to get home after this one. I roll a 5, that'll be enough to get home. So at least I got home with 1 hour spare, and I got something. I got a square, which is worth more than the triangles. So I got 7 points. Red got 7, and green got 0. So the cross tiles get removed, everything gets shuffled back up, so it's easier to get down and quicker to get down. And then you carry on, so that gets played over 3 turns. The person with the most points at the end is the winner. And as I said, that's a real fun little game, and you know, certainly one that you can play with younger children. The last game that I'm going to show you is Moon Adventure, and this is probably the more meaty of the games available. Certainly a lot more mechanics. Hell of a lot more mechanics, actually. So the first thing you do, each person chooses a role. There's various roles of engineers, and they all do different things. Basically give you different boosts. Or you can choose a random role. This is one of those games, if you are a board gamer, this would be one of those games where you play multi-handed. There's no CPU in this game, although it says there's CPU players. The human player, so basically me, will take the turns of the CPU players as well. Just due to, again, how sort of complex this game is and the decisions that have to be made. So basically you're playing the role of all 3 characters. So the idea here is we need to retrieve 7 bits of cargo from our expedition to the moon. We've got these air tanks you can see on the left hand side there. Each person starts with 3 random cards. These cards have got blue and grey oxygen tanks on. The blue tanks mean that we can roll 3 die. Grey tanks mean that we can roll 2 die. You can choose whichever one you want. And we'll do that and then explain the next mechanic. So I'm going to roll a 3 die. So I rolled a 5, a 2, a 2 and a 1. So it gives me 5. And that gives me 5 action points to spend. And you'll see that in a second. But because I chose the rookie roll in the roll selection at the start, it means I can re-roll any of my rolls, but I'm not going to do that just now. 5's good enough. So again, really nice UI here, really nice. At the bottom you've got 5 pips for your 5 action points. They count down as you use them. You can see here as you scroll through the different actions, it shows you what will be taken off. These are the actions that you can take. You can take movement, which is going to cost you 1 action point for every space you move. You can deploy what's called an OGS. I'm not exactly sure what OGS stands for. It does tell you in the instructions, but basically you put down one of the OGS tiles. You can see those at the bottom, and it means that you can replenish your oxygen cards. So you put that on the path in front of you or behind you, and any player passing over that can refill their oxygen cards. That's going to cost me 3 action points to do. You can do something called Developer Route. It's going to cost 2 action points. You put one of the yellow cubes, you can see it again at the bottom of the screen. You put one of those on one of the tiles, and what happens there is that as your characters are moving along the tiles, they get to skip over the yellow blocks basically for free. So it gives you an extra block to jump over. So that's quite useful to do. Container sharing is greyed out at the moment, but it basically allows you to share resources between other players. You can do that for 1 action point. Gather supplies, you can pick up one of the tiles in front of you, and you can abandon your supplies, again greyed out because we've got no supplies at the moment, for 1 action point, or you can end your turn. So the first thing we're going to do is do some movement. I think we're going to move 2 spaces. Again, keep going on about it, but the really nice UI looks really nice, very clear what you got to do. Going to move 2 spaces. And I get to keep taking actions until I've used all my action points. I think the next thing I'm going to do is develop a route, which means that when my other characters come out, they'll be able to skip over that tile and gain an extra movement space. And we're going to move one more tile. So as we've got this route in front of us, it's a good example to show you that I'm going to be able to move here 2 tiles, even though I've only got 1 point of movement left. Because I've got that yellow cube in front of me, I can jump over that. So basically my 1 action point will take me to 2 tiles in front. And that's my turn over. So I end my turn. So CPU A gets to choose which card they use. I'll show you how the 2 die ones work. We roll 2 die, get 3 action points. Now if I move 3 spaces here, I'm going to jump in front of my purple character. So that's going to be a lot of movement for not a lot of points. So I think that's worth doing. Because you jump over characters as well, that doesn't cost an action point. So because of that root cube, and because I'm standing in front of that, the character's 3 action points is actually going to get them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces down the track. But that will end our turn. And CPU B gets a 6. Her role as an inventor, she can develop a route for 1 action point instead of 2. That's her special ability. So first of all, she's going to move 3 action points, which is going to put her at the front of the cube. Only going to cost 3, but she basically moves 6 spaces. And she's going to put out an OGS, and she's going to put it probably smart if she puts it. Well, I'm going to put it behind her because where am I? No, I'm going to put it in front of her. So you see there, the tiles get shuffled up, OGS goes there, and anyone that passes that gets a chance to refresh their cards from the deck. Now the deck of cards are at the top right hand corner of the screen. You can see kind of just off to the side there. A deck of cards. You get basically the next card, the next oxygen tank card, but it does move some of the magnetic cards. You can just see them off there, the red symbol cards there, and if you pull one of those, then not good things happen. So you carry on like this, the expedition. You need to collect items, a little bit like the deep sea game. You need to collect these tiles, get them back to base. If you can collect 7 tiles between you all on 1 trip, then you win the game. But as I say, this is quite an involved game, certainly more than the others. But again, you know, where you've got startups, which is a really nice quick card game, you know, 15 minutes there. And you've got Deep Sea Adventure, which is a basic sort of role game, and one you can play with the younger kids. And then you've got something you can get your teeth into a little bit more with this one, Moon Adventure. So there you go. And again, it's unfortunate we can't play Fake Artist Goes to New York. I will try, I guess, and play with some local players, and I'll let you know how that goes. We're just going to try the online one more time, see if there's anyone online. You can play any of these games online as well. I mean, obviously, if you've got a friend or a couple of friends that have got this game, you can play online with them. Unable to find, as it says there. You can play local multiplayer as well. You know, I'm sure if I created a table and sat around long enough, maybe someone will come across. But as I say, this is quite a niche game, and I'm just not sure how popular it's going to be. I don't think it's on any other systems, so I think that rules out, you know, a cross-play user base. So it's quite a shame. A couple of the other things, you can go in here, change your icon. There's tons of icons you can choose from. If you don't like the one that you've got, you can change that. You can change your icon color. All kind of superficial kind of stuff. You've got your records here of the games. Each game, how many times you played it, how many wins you've got, whether that's online or offline. So played twice, won once. Options fairly limited. Just turn the sound on, turn chat on, turn vibration off. You can change your server selection. Automatic defaults me to Europe. And you can change the language if you want to as well. So there you go. That is Let's Play Oink Games. Probably if you're looking to get this to play A Fake Artist Goes to New York, if you've played that before, you know, in real life, in inverted commas, you might be disappointed to find out that, you know, you're probably going to struggle to play it here. You need a minimum of 3 human players, including yourself. The other games, I really like them. As I say, they're a mixed bag in terms of depth and sort of crunch that you can get your teeth into, but I like that. I like that there's a bit of diversity. If you just want a quick car game, you can play startups. If you want, you know, if you've got a 45 minutes or an hour or so, you can get stuck into Moon Adventure. So I really like that. Again, the quality of production is through the roof, just absolutely beautiful. Absolutely love it. So let me know what you think. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you're new. Leave me a comment below, be most appreciated. But until next time, I will catch you all again. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.